Alright, so basically, I was in my, where I left you guys off at, I was obviously entering my American Cinema 2 class, and yeah, went to the bathroom, was chilling, and yeah, I got in, and I'm just like, okay, there's not much going on here, whatever, listening there, she's really excited to talk about American cinema, hey. And so before the class, I did a clip earlier in my, whether it be my other video or this video, we don't know, but like I said before, it's all a process. Yeah, I was watching a clip from the Citizen movie from 2013. And yeah, we talked a little bit about it today. It's a guy from Lebanon, and he's Arab and blah, blah, blah. You know, came in 9/11, this whole thing. Later on in the class, she always brings up Jesus. That's one thing. She always brings up Jesus. And every time she brings up Jesus, okay, I'm listening. But I don't really expect people to understand or know Jesus the way I know Jesus. So I'm listening, but I'm not always, so like from the beginning, I'm not always forefront listening. So then she starts talking about Neo. If you don't know, or obviously you don't know, but our movie for last week before the Thanksgiving break was The Matrix. And in The Matrix, you know, there's Neo and there's Cypher. And so she started talking about Cypher. You know, he betrays all the people. He wants to go back into the Matrix. It's his whole thing, right? She starts comparing Neo to Jesus. Okay, right. And so her whole thing, I wrote this in like one of my notes. She said this thing, but I'm gonna obviously bring it. So all in all, she talks about all types of things like, oh, Buddhism tracks back to Christianity and all these other things. Like, I don't know what she was saying at that point, but like I said before, she says a lot of things. And then I just so happened to grasp onto one of the things she says that kind of just strikes my memory about something God told me before, God reminded me about before, or something I kind of always knew but never knew like how I know now and in this moment. So I was just writing. And if you know me and see me in that class, I don't do much, I don't move around much. But when I do, I'm writing some notes. So yeah, and so I wrote, she then starts talking about Zionism, right? I don't really know what Zionism is, but she starts, that's what, if you guys know what it means, please comment down below, because even the definition, I searched up before when I made this video, because I made this video like a few weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, someone who supports the right of Jewish people and having their own determined homeland and sovereign state in Israel, this is in the side already, and desire for safety and self-determination. I don't know, is it still like an undercover thing to be Jewish, because you know there's a lot of things with like Christian people, Jewish people, I don't really know, but more in the how you say American community. I'm not too fond of that. They didn't really teach me that when I was in Catholic school, and I still am not well versed on it now because they don't teach it in any church I've ever gone to. I don't know what Zionism is, and I don't really care to know, but it seems something that's really important, so I would love to know. Really piqued my interest. I thought she was talking about Christian people and Revelation, but she started talking about Zionism and how in Zionism it's the belief that Jewish people will one day go to heaven and bring Jesus down to save us all. So then I stood up. When I said stood up, I sat up in my chair because I was leaning back. Like, what? So I was just like, okay, and then I started listening, and and then I was just like, what is going on? So then somebody else raised their hand, and she was like, what does that remind you of? And someone else said that reminded them of the fourth movie of The Matrix, which is Revelation. And I was like, okay. But so I searched it up on the spot. I was like, is it called Revelation? You know, because obviously that's another example of how nothing God does is on accident. Nothing that happens is on accident. Everything is intentional, right? So I'm just like, that's a little odd. I don't think it's called Revelation, but yeah. So I searched it up and it was called Resurrection, and which makes sense. I'm pretty sure it's this whole thing on resurrection. Oh, is your trash?
Then I'm looking and I'm like, I didn't, my laptop is pissing me off.
Oh my gosh. But yes, and so basically back to the thing of like how Jesus is similar to Neo. Like Neo's whole thing, right, of him being the chosen one, right? They use another word, but she was using chosen one a lot. That's the only thing that's coming to my mind right now. So the whole idea of Neo being the chosen one, right? Like the chosen one and the oracle was sent, okay, she's supposed to be the one to decide who is the one and blah, blah, blah. The man's supposed to be reincarnated in one of the weird Matrix people, whatever, right? She then says to Neo, she says, it's not you. But then he's gets a little gaslighting, but it's not gaslighting, but it's this whole thing, whatever. The point is that Neo's whole thing, because he actually was the chosen one, was so said to be to save the world. Because the world was damned. It's done. Like, there's robots, AI has taken over the world, right? And so then she starts comparing it to Jesus. This woman strangely knows a lot of, I don't know. Like, does she know a lot about Jesus? Is she Christian? I don't know. I'm still thinking to myself, like, what, are you Christian? Are you not? You know a lot about Christianity. I said the woman can just be itchy. Husband can be just itchy. What she talking about? How Christianity aligns with this movie and this and this. And me, I know me, ever since I gave my life to Christ, I always find a way to connect things with God. I'm not sitting down like, oh my gosh, and I feel like this is connected to Christ. No, it's literally because everything goes back to Christ. And so it's just like, for this class, a little background. I keep saying a little background, but I'm saying like all these things. A little background, like I told you guys before, actually, in one of my earlier videos, how I got this class. I was supposed to take a pre-calc class. It was this whole thing, blah blah blah. Had to appeal for another class that I needed some extra credits for this semester. I already had them, but it's like whatever, right? What was I gonna say? Oh. Well, yeah, I literally clicked what the lady told me to click, and the first thing that came up was American Cinema, and I was like, and I was God sent. And I was God sent. Why? I just said that because I know I'm going to take a cinema class. But taking that in my freshman year was a little unpractical to me, so I never thought of that. And I also didn't know what to do in orientation. I don't know what the freak Zionism is, and I surely didn't know when she was talking about it. So let's search stuff. What is Zionism? Zionism is a nationalist movement that supports the establishment and self-determination of a Jewish homeland. That is not telling me what they believe in. The aim is a movement and goals including support for continued existence and security of the Jewish state and a right to Jewish. I don't know what that means. No, I don't know what that means at all. I don't know what that means.
My question is for the
Zionist. What is that?
Is a Zionist.
So, first of all, Zion. What's Zion? It's Jerusalem,
okay,
right? So, when you're calling me or another Jew a Zionist, I mean, it's the best thing you can call us. Like, Zion is Jerusalem. So, Zionist is someone who believes in the right for Jews to self-determine in the Jewish ancestral homeland of Israel. That's all it means. If you believe that Jews have the right to self-govern in their own homeland, then you're a Zionist. It's really that big.
If you speak to... I'm a Jew.
There's just one reason you should be boycotting Stranger Things.
If you care about Palestine...
Israel is not the...
Every time I come to my parents' house, I get so excited because...
Oh, wow.
No one in Canada should ever...
I still don't know what a Zionist is, but okay. I don't know what that is. A Zionist is a Jew? Jewish person? I don't know what that is, but okay. So yeah, let's just move on, I guess. But that's what she was saying. She's saying that's what they believe in. And so then when one of my classmates actually had brought up the fact of what the fourth Matrix movie being called The Revelation, this lady knew a lot about the Bible, so she obviously knows if no one else knows. And like that girl who probably said it, I don't know if she was Christian, I don't think so, but she said Revelation. I was like, because the way the professor was speaking was as if like, okay, she was insinuating that the last film was called Matrix, the Revelation, but it was a resurrection. It still goes with Christianity, with this whole thing. And she was like, do you think that's a mistake? She's really uptight. She's not uptight, she's just really passionate about this thing, But yeah, but not only does homosexuality, Christ and Christ come up in every single class, it all connects back to several epiphanies, things I've journaled about. And if you don't know me, I am not a good journaler because I talk a lot, and so just me talking a lot prohibits me from wanting to sit down and write. I don't want to do that. I don't have a desire to do that either. So yeah, it reminded me that the movie we watched about 2 weeks ago, Desert Hearts. If you don't know what Desert Hearts is, it is a film about two women. One woman, she's divorcing her husband, stays at this other lady's stepmom's house. It's this whole thing. They get into a relationship, okay? But when the subject was brought up in class, the end of the movie ends with the older woman. They have a 10-year age gap, 36 and 25, I believe. 34 and 24, I believe. Unless it was 36 and 26, but I'm pretty sure it was a 4. But that's not the point. The point is that it ends with a 40-minute train ride, and then the younger girl gets on, and it's like, ride with me 40 more minutes and make your decision, blah, blah, blah. And so make your decision about what? Make your decision if you want to be with me, because they have this whole affair and this whole thing. And this lady never knew she was gay, so now she's gay, but that's not the point. The point is, they started arguing the fact that this was love, and so I was just like, okay, right. I totally, no. And so that was another time in class where I just was like, no, I feel like not spiritually uncomfortable, spiritually inclined to be in this conversation. Involve me, because let me tell you something. That was not love. I could see how some people could argue homosexuality was love, but I'm gonna tell you right now, that film was not a depiction of it. That's what I'm saying. It's just this whole thing that I could get into. But to simplify on this, in my mind, the first thing that came to mind was lust versus love. Because if you don't know, I started a Christian club, and one of the first things we did was lust versus love, because it's something our generation highly struggles with. And so then I brought up classics, and so I raised my hand, and this one girl, she I forgot what she said, but the more I talk on, I'll remember. This other classmate, and so I was like bringing up things like The Notebook and Titanic, and I was arguing the fact that in those films you could feel the love, right? And I just didn't feel it there. And so the question that was put on the floor was, do you think that Alex went back? Was that her name? Do you think that whatever her name was, do you think that she went all the way back with the other lady? Yeah, do you think that Kay went all the way back with Vivian to New York? And I said no, because when you think about the classics like The Notebook and Titanic, yes, those were heterosexual relationships, but I would argue, as I said, wasn't this passionate, but because I'm to hold space, but I was like, I could argue that you could feel the love, you could feel the passion there, but in this movie, it just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. At this point, everyone was quiet, everyone was looking at me, because it was like, is she talking about homosexuality, or is she talking about the movie? Well, at least that's what their looks were looking like to me. And so, the point was that I just did not feel the love there. It wasn't love, it was lust. That's what it was. When you watch the movie, this woman is a 30-something-year-old woman who, let's assume she did nothing but what she was told to do her whole life, right? Get married, get a good job, do what you gotta do. She was finally sick of it. I don't know that her husband beat her or not. I don't remember. I watched it like 3 weeks ago. But what I am going to argue is the fact that she wasn't in a less than okay mental space. So if the opportunity to lust for anything was put in front of her, she was gonna take it, and she did. That's what it was. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it was. That's what's depicted in the film Desert Hearts. You could argue with me, but you would be arguing with the wall, because that's what I That's what it is. That's not just what I believe. That's literally what it is. There's no other way, bro. She tried to avoid this girl. Why? Because at that time as well, a little before then, we're also talking about this in psychology, people perform lobotomies on people who were showing signs of homosexuality for some reason. I don't know what they thought the lobotomy was going to do. I still don't understand the concept of the lobotomy. I don't know if it's really practiced now anymore. But the point is that was very well known at this time. At least, you know, because it's just a movie. It's just a movie, but they knew what they were doing, because this movie is from when? 1985. And then when did they stop? When did they stop performing the lobotomy? Why did it just say the long booty? They stopped performing the lobotomy in the mid 1950s, but the last lobotomy was performed in 1967. That was not the only reason they performed the lobotomy. I'm just mentioning it because if you ever watch the movie, the film Ratchet that's on Netflix, they performed the lobotomy on a lesbian woman, and so yeah, I don't know much about her, because even if we do, I'm pretty sure she had a relationship with a man later on in the show. I watched when I was really young. Oof, don't watch that, kids. But I am gonna say that it's interesting, right? Yeah, like I would argue that. People could also argue, no, but Kawiti, what do you mean? The Notebook and Titanic had lust in it. Yeah, but I mean, cinematically, it was just so good. You're not thinking about things like that. No, I'm joking. I mean, for me, when you think about Titanic, I don't think there were any times they were really lustful. Lust was always in the air. It's always in the air whenever you're talking about Hollywood movies and films and things like that, right? But I'm gonna say something right now. Titanic, I knew sense no lust in there, and let me tell you something. I didn't watch that when I gave my life to Christ, but from what I can remember, hey, I could be wrong. I'm gonna test the waters. Hey, let's sit down and watch, right? But the point is, you felt the love there. Maybe like that somebody could argue again, oh no, but what do you mean? That's probably just what the director wanted you to feel. So then why do I feel this whole other way, spiritually and mentally, about Desert Hearts? I'm not gonna lie. If I wasn't in this class and I was still living for the world, I wouldn't watch that movie, because I don't find that in like, I don't even know what is the description of the movie. I don't search movies up like that, so yeah, I don't know. That genre seems like it wasn't for me in the first place, but that's not the point. The point is that I thought it was really interesting how all this stuff tied in. Homosexuality, Christianity, because I actually forgot the example she brought up for Christianity for this film, but it was this whole other thing. The last note I wrote was that I would go as far as saying that you could not mention those two movies, Titanic and The Notebook, to one generation besides Gen Alpha. I mean, unless they just don't watch. I don't think Gen Alpha's really watching The Notebook and Titanic, but hey, right? Yeah, every generation besides that one knows references from these films. Why? Because you could feel the love there. And also, I put Love and Basketball. You could feel the love there. You really could. Love and Basketball is actually very lustful, if you ask me, but you could feel the love. If love was real, take out the lust and submit Christ, you could feel the love, the passion. There was purity behind everything, because there was a yearning. There was a yearning, but there was something in the actress's eyes of embodying a lesbian woman that just made me just like think like, wow, like that's so crazy. This isn't love, and it's not. I disagree if anyone was to say no, because you gotta understand there was a time period. I mean, this was in 1996. No. Look in Kay's eyes. It wasn't love, bro. It was admiration. Then it was desire. Then it was obsession. When you watch the film, Kay got every woman she ever wanted. One of the construction workers who actually worked on her stepmom's farm said, how do you get so much, how do you get so much women with no equipment? Yeah, the reference was really clever though. I wish I could remember. But yeah, and I don't remember what she said, but it was very like, I'm like, I don't know, like you tell me, you know? And so giving a woman Vivian Bell, it's not because she was vulnerable, it's not because any of that. It didn't help that she was vulnerable, ending up doing what they did, but that's not the point. The point is, what was really going on? Well, let me stop playing. The point is, Kay wasn't gonna give up, and that wasn't love. That wasn't love. Oh, what do you mean, Tweety? People fight against love sometimes. No. It wasn't like she was holding herself back, or she was holding herself back because it was immoral or deemed immoral. That's not even the point here. The point is that there was something in her, I would argue, that she felt wasn't right. Feelings are fleeting enough for her to forget, because let me tell you something. I could go on with this forever, so I'm actually gonna end it here, but yeah, it's a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here though, because I go into this for hours, but honestly speaking, why is my arm like that? But honestly speaking, I think that it's a very complex idea. It's a very complex class as well. You know, you have to be somebody of substance to understand the substance underneath it, because she'll be talking about some hardcore, gut-wrenching topics that I'm just like, everybody else is like, only 30% of the class participates for real. Like, I never thought about that, but for real. Only 30% of the class participates for real. There's some people who have never spoken, and participation is 50% of the class. Let me stop talking because that's kind of my business. But I'm just thinking out loud here. But yeah. I don't even know. And she was saying something about, like, I don't know, AI creating Zionism. I don't even know what that was about. Who created Zionism? You know what? I'm gonna study this on my own time, because I don't even know what that is. I've just been hearing it my whole life. Like, it's hurting my head thinking about it. But yeah, guys, my head hurts. I have an entrepreneurship exam for tomorrow. I didn't even study for it. I was supposed to study on Sunday. And my head was hurting. I don't know, I've had this headache for 3 days. Pray for me. Pray for me, because if God doesn't do something like it tomorrow, it's an online exam, but still, if God doesn't do something, it's not gonna get done. It's not gonna get done, because I know, but the type of question, like, I actually do pay attention, like, really, that's one of my favorite classes, but the questions he asks, it's just like, bro, I don't remember that part. It's like, wait, help me out here, wait. So yeah, no, but yes, and yeah, man, I have to edit now. My head's still hurting. Woo. Yeah, man, that's all I got. Tomorrow is December 3rd, and we have oh my gosh, bro, I also have a Japanese, it's my last, I'm never saying Japanese again, oh my gosh, I also have a Japanese vocab quiz and entrepreneurship quiz, but I have to go Japanese after hours, then the entrepreneurship quiz. Then after that, it's the holiday dinner from 3 to 9. I hope they have good food, because I'm a vlog then, so y'all gonna know if it's bad. Oh my gosh, guys. But yeah, bye. Thank you for listening to my... Don't piss me off. Goodbye. I'm sorry. Like, but yeah, guys. Sayonara.